Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to some more Let's Play the Occult Chronicles. In the last episode, Doctor Whom II, totally for the first time, walked into the mansion with you guys this year for the Occult Chronicles run-through we're doing. We have taken a few quests, and we've been lucky enough to have leveled up a few times as well. One more experience point will earn us another skill card, which we'll put into something that will allow us to improve our cups score. And as you can see from our stats, we've improved our wands once and our pentacles twice so far through these skill cards. We have the two edges that we began the game with. No new bones. We picked up two of the potentially 3 clue tokens that are someplace on the first floor, and have quite a few quests already taken and underway. We have Burst of Speed as a feat that we found during one of the Quest Acceptance Challenge rewards, which allows us to lower, I think, all of the non-face cards that are not yet revealed down -X, where X is the number of cups rolled. Remember that if we roll higher on that bone than our cup's score, we will fail to use the feat successfully, but still consume the courage in order to utilize it. So we don't want to use Burst of Speed until we have at least a 4 in cups. We started with Dominate and a toolkit. And I think that's about it. So with that said, let's get going. An encounter in here, huh? In the servants' quarters? Could be the butler. I guess we'll check it. You see a human figure lurking in the darkness, and you don't like the look of it at all. It steps forward from out of the gloom. You're confronted with a strange and unusually tall man who towers over 6.5 feet. He seems dressed like a mortician of some sort. He opens his hand to reveal a shiny spiked sphere that miraculously hovers out of his palm. He smiles and in a creepy voice says, "I have been waiting for you, boy." Still have never seen the movie Phantasm, which this is alluding to, if I recall correctly. You have seen a lot of strange things, but this one is right up there. You have a feeling that there is a story here that is just the tip of the iceberg. Maybe this guy was sent here by a rival organization from the Odd, and is looking to also figure out what's going on with the psychokinetic device, which was put here to work on the house's hauntedness. Well, the horror challenge shouldn't be any trouble. We have a King of Pentacles and a Queen of Wands. Assuming, of course, we can find a Pentacles card up here. Sure, we'll play the Queen. Play the King. Won the challenge. We're 7 over. And that's it. You have seen things far worse than this. After all, you were part of the first Odd team to breach a dimensional barrier. This guy and his gizmo don't scare you in the least. 4 courage! I forgot you can get courage from passing horror checks. It's not very often you get it, but generally, when you get a courage card, you can often get another. Okay. Well, we have one card that we can assign to courage, so Burst of Speed it is. The strange man continues to approach you, striding forward with an unnatural gait. The spiked ball now launches itself at high speed towards you. It's either flight or flee at this point. So, normally, you can only attack the strange man or flee him. I added you spells or use your psionic abilities, both of which look like they're equal. Disrupt the control of that orb. You're pretty sure he's controlling the sphere with his mind as opposed to any magical means. Maybe you can sever the connection he has with it. Queen of Swords, Knight of Cups are high cards. Not so bad. We can also use Dominate. Let's flip over like 2 cards before I decide if I want to use Dominate or not. King of Pentacles. 6 of Cups. We've almost won the challenge. I'll lose this one, I guess. Oh, no, we do win! Knight of Swords shown up, and we can play the Queen to get quite a few points. 5 more points over our target number. The strange man lies still, bleeding from several deep wounds. You took control of the orb and used it against him. It ceases to obey your commands the moment he stopped breathing, but maybe you can still find something else on him. Everlasting Chalice. I made sure that the rewards you get from this are the same as as the rewards of fighting him, so I just added more options for us to actually engage him in combat. That worked out rather well, I think. We'll take a look at what this does for us in a few seconds. It's a Pentacles item. Gives us +1 Pentacles. Item is removed after the last use. Cleanse wounds. Used to remove all wound cards and heal D6 health points. Wow! 2 uses. That's a very nice item to find. That is so nice that I'm willing to go back to the main menu in order to make sure that the Reaper mode saves the game, so if it does crash, we don't have to worry about losing that item. Alright, that was amazing. Let's keep searching the room. We are looking for one more clue token, and since we're not on a time limit, we can explore the entirety of the mansion. You stumble upon 3 figures hovering over something lying on the floor. They look up to face you. You recoil in horror as you observe their blood-covered faces. These creatures have been feasting on a body, and it looks human. King of Swords and a 6 of Swords are our high cards. 8 of Swords. Well, we might as well win the horror challenge. Anything else we get over is nice, but I'm not expecting to get anything else, and we don't. Usually things far worse than this. Ghouls. You would know those canine features and that smell anywhere. The Odd has been called in more than once to fight ghoul infestations. Calcutta, Chicago, London, Fond du Lac, they seem to pop up everywhere. You remember your briefings. Hit them hard and they will scatter. Don't let them swarm you or get behind you. And make sure you get any bite wounds, especially bite wounds, treated immediately. Normally you can only fight them. I added, I think, using sorcery to the challenge. It should be this. Okay, well, let's look at this. So fighting them physically gives us 5 target number with 4 tricks and 5 draw. Using sorcery against them gives us 6 target number, but 6 tricks and 7 draw. I think I like this more. They're corporeal creatures. A few well-placed firebolts or shrivel spells should do the trick, assuming you still have a few of those. King of Swords, 10 of Pentacles are our high cards. We can't use Burst of Speed, by the way, here, because this is not a combat, it's a sorcery challenge. Sure, we'll win the challenge. Nice. A few more points over as well. 6 points over. That's very good for what we had in hand. You step over the twisted remains of their corpses, eager to press on. Where there's one pack, there's usually more. An edge upgrade card. Wow, remember when this used to glitch the game on us? 2 life and 3 experience points also. We only have 1 skill that can be edge upgrade, so that's verbal intuition. So we will get another card for all persuasion or deception challenges now. And we want a card that gives us cups. So we really should take Athletics Specialist, but it would be fun to take Mechanical Devices. You know, since we're not playing with the time limit, I'm willing to make a more thematic character than I normally would. Athletics, I feel, was superior to any of the other picks here, because it absolutely lets you increase your cups, probably by up to 3 points. Gives you defensive heroic feats, which are used to help you evade traps. Gives you evade traps edges as well. It's all very useful. But the mechanical devices seem like it would work well with the Doctor. And it would still let us improve our cups. It also will flip-flop between cups and wands. So I think we'll get 2 cups and 2 wands upgrades here. Defensive rogue feats and edges would be nice. Those will help us with traps, I think. Lock edges, which will be interesting. And a cups bone. Not as useful as athletics, but we'll still pick it. And that is the last of the skill cards. Oh, we're allowed to pick, and wands is the first thing we have to improve here. I was hoping for cups. That might have been a gigantic mistake, taking this, because if I can only raise my cups to 3, we're going to be hit by almost every single trap imaginable when we get down to the basement. Hopefully we find some items that improve our cups score. The servant's kitchen. Oh, awkward place for it, right here where they're sleeping. The oven is likely to be in this room. It's not. You see, when it first looks like a blur of light and shadow moving back and forth in a circular pattern, it might even be the reflection from some nearby mirror or window. Suddenly, you see the ghost materialize before you. It's dressed in the classic attire of a chef with an apron and a distinctive cooking hat. You stop dead in your tracks and try to compose yourself. Your mind races contemplating this ghostly creature that has suddenly appeared before you. The fear it elicits is, of course, natural, but confronting the supernatural is never easy. Knight of Wands, Page of Swords are our high cards. Lots of tricks on the board, which is nice. Or could be nice. We've already run the challenge. I'm willing to risk holding on to the Knight for a little longer. That was a mistake. You have kept your sanity. You might even emerge from this a little stronger. The ghostly chef floats about in a circle as if moving from working station to working station. It seems completely absorbed in what it is doing and does not seem to be paying you any attention. You decide to try to make contact with the ghostly chef to find out what has it so animated. Queen of Pentacles, huh? I'm going to fail this challenge to see if I can get more face cards. You enter a trance and reach out to the ghost. It turns to look at you with an angry face. No time to talk. It needs more cowbell. Again. Oh, much better. King of Wands, Page of Wands, Queen of Swords. You guys might hear a little jingling. That's Button playing with a toy in the room now. Oh, good for you, Button. You picked it up. Where are you going to bring it? You know, if we play the king, even though it's just a 2, we're 10 over the target number, and we're drawing 7 cards. So, we don't need any more points at this point in the game. But we'll still take them. You make contact with the ghostly chef and inquire about its work. It seems to mutter something, and then snaps around to look at you with a fervent intensity. It wants something from you. The knife. Oh. I've lost my knife. I think it ran off somewhere. Have you found it? It's very sharp and very strong-willed. Has a mind of its own, you know. Please tell it to come here at once. Let's see what this is. Oh, speaking of knives, you hear the clatter and swish of air before you can even see it. Then suddenly in front of you is a supernatural cyclone of razor-sharp butcher knives. It's moving right towards you, and you don't even have the luxury to panic. You fight to keep yourself calm and not give in to the panic. Two kings are a pair of high cards, with a queen following it up. And we can take the Knight of Wands with our King of Wands, and we have won the horror challenge. Can even take the Page of Pentacles with our King of Pentacles. Your will obeys, and you are ready for whatever comes next. You know a poltergeist when you see it, and this one is armed, dangerous, and mad. Wouldn't make sense for this particular house, wouldn't it? So they're both good. They're both good options. 7 target number, but with 7 tricks and 7 draw. Or 6 target number with 6 tricks and 6 draw. I'm surprised I didn't add a physical option for this fight. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and engage it in a psychic duel. The poltergeist is the embodiment of a mindless rage, and you think you can contain and disperse it with the power of your mind. A risky course, no doubt, but it may just work. King of Wands, Queen of Pentacles. We can also use Dominate on this challenge. I'm going to start with that. So we gain 4 points. I select a card and discard it. It was not a face card. Okay. It also wasn't one I was able to take, so I'm glad that we did that. If it was a face card, we were earned 3 more points for the challenge. Uh-oh. We might not be playing either. Okay, of our face cards. I don't want to lose this challenge. We have a 7 target number, which means that this could... this poltergeist, I think, can do some nasty stuff for us if we lose. So I'd rather not risk another combat. Plus, we did use a psychic talent, which means we have some psychic pushback now on us. So let's win the challenge. And good thing we use our psychic power. We would have lost otherwise, I think. No, we would have barely won with 1 point. You won the duel. You first create a barrier around it, and then holding it tight, simply snuff it out. One sanity. Okay, whatever. What's inside the butler's room? Is there by any chance a butler here? A tall, well-dressed figure looms into view holding a silver platter in one hand as if to offer you an appetizer. Your eyes travel down to the platter and behold half a human head. You feel a surge of panic growing within you. You've been trained to expect and deal with things like this, so no matter how many times you see something like it, it still requires steady nerves to keep calm. I'll play the knight to win the horror challenge. Are you the head waiter? You drolly inquire. He does have a head there. Standing in front of you is the figure of what was obviously once a butler or servant. You say once because you are sure that what now confronts you is a supernatural entity of some sort. It is the most corporeal ghost that you have ever encountered. You have read of such things in Tobin's spirit guide, but you are certain that... Hey, what are you doing down there? Don't bite my foot. The foots are not for biting. You have read such things in Tobin's spirit guide, but you are certain this is very unusual. You approach the butler, and his glowing eyes are fixed on you. The head of the plate suddenly stares up at you as well. May I help you, sir? It intones, and you are not sure if you actually heard its voice in your ears or just in your head. Oh, we can't actually get a quest from him because we've already encountered the chef. Normally he would send us there. So the only thing we can do actually is dismiss the servant psychically. You have an idea that you can use your psychic powers to dismiss the servant once and for all. He'll probably thank you for it. Well, this is not a good chance. 10 of Wands, 9 of Cups are our high cards. Let's use Dominate again. Nice. 3 points because you rolled a 3. Plus 3 more because we chose a face card. And we win the challenge. And it was only because we used that we won the challenge. All right, then. And thankfully, we also chose a face card, or we would have won with... We would have met the target number. The butler was obviously caught off guard. The psychic talent seemed to confuse him and convince him to retire, perhaps for just a night or possibly longer. He says that he needs to go get his head straight, and vanishes. free experience point. We're going to work on our cups next. A servant's dining room. This is awful. Why would you put the butler's room before the servant's dining room? I guess technically when the servants are eating, the butler should be up and about, so... You are suddenly confronted by a translucent figure. It seems dressed in the attire of a previous era, perhaps the late 17th century. Your first impression is that it is not a hostile spirit. It seems to be considering you and taking your measure. Despite the non-threatening approach of the ghost, your confrontation with the supernatural is still very disturbing to your peace of mind. Queen of Wands, Page of Swords. Uh-oh. Okay. Oh, look at that! Tim with the clever saving of the page. That was so lucky. The only card we couldn't take between our 9 and our page was the 10. If we played the 9, we couldn't take the 10 unless we held on to our page earlier, but we did. That earns us an extra 3 points. Perhaps we're getting a little too used to this. You recognize the ghost's attire as a chapel or organ master. Your odd training tells you that it's a classic Class 4 free roaming entity. It has retained its identity from its previous life and seems fully self-aware. The ghost gestures gently as if it would like to allay your fears and make contact with you. You set about making contact through your skills as a medium. You have been taught the trance and meditation techniques at the Odd Academy. King of Pentacles, 10 of Swords look like our high cards. Oh, let's win the challenge flat out. Nine over. We'll draw 7 cards as well, I think. You establish a link with the ghost and are immediately overwhelmed by its sense of desperation. It needs your help. While in your trance, you come to understand that the ghost's implorations. Wow. Many years ago, it was tricked into building the pipe organ by a nefarious cult known as the Order of the Divine Agony. It used the organ to collect the remnants of disembodied souls that were harvested from their dark sacrificial rituals. The cult is long gone, but the reliquary of torment abides here in this house. Within the pipe organ dwells the disembodied rage of hundreds of sacrificial souls. The ghost was able to sabotage the organ many years ago, hiding important pieces in the house. He alone possesses the sheet of music that the organ desires to unlock its destructive powers. The organ master wants you to help him destroy the organ and free the remnants so that they can continue to the spirit world. The organ told us not to trust this guy. But I think we will trust it. Though it is actually telling the truth, and the organ is the one lying to you. Very rarely do I side with the organ. You have to do a nasty battle against it after you destroy him in return for your reward. You come face to face with the living dead. Slow, ponderous, and mindless, zombies are still not to be underestimated. They can overwhelm you with numbers and be feasting on your entrails before you know it. Despite having dispatched quite a few of these undead automatons, they still creep you out. My goodness, that's a really hard horror check. A 7? You struggle to maintain your sanity. It's slightly difficult because we have 29 points of sanity and 5 wands and 5 pentacles, so the game's now making this encounter on the first floor very difficult for us for horror challenges. Zombies. You hate these guys. This place certainly knows how to keep you on your toes. Just don't build a summer house here. So these are normally both the same difficulty, if I recall correctly, so you can see that the game's difficulty adjustment is coming into play here, because it sees that we have a higher skill in wands and pentacles, so it's increased the difficulty there. Still, with 7 tricks and 7 draw, we should do this. You begin to evoke Wither, which should hopefully reduce these creatures to dust. This is something I also added to the game. Normally, it's just attack the zombies. You have no option to use magic against them. King of Swords, Knight of Pentacles are our high cards, with a bunch of other high numbers. That's promising. We have no cups, though. Well, we can't play the king, but we still win the challenge. It was tricky, but you managed to get all three within the confines of the spell. It helps that they were the slow type of zombies rather than the fast type. There will be, to my knowledge, no clue token in a hallway. They're always in rooms. So, stepping here risks a trap where we don't need to risk a trap. You notice a human figure curled up into a fetal position and struggling for breath. It's obvious that whatever it is, it's sick and probably dying. As you draw closer, you realize this figure before you isn't human. It's some type of weird half-plant and half-human lab experiment monstrosity. You occasionally encounter things that science shouldn't meddle with, and this is one of those. You stare in horror at the pathetic creature and wonder what madness would drive someone to create this. Wow, that's a fantastic hand. Shame we're wasting it on a horror check like this. 2 kings, a page, and a queen. Okay, we have 1. We don't need to flip over any more cards. Once you're over about, like, 10 over a target number, you're already drawing your max number of reward cards. You did things far worse than this. You were part of the team that broke into the 5th lab and discovered the twisted alchemical created creatures called chimeras. This isn't anywhere near as bad as that. The dying plant man looks up at you expectantly. You think that you recognize emotions in its facial expressions. Fear and pain. In between labored breaths, it seems to be chittering like it was trying to communicate with you. Its message is plain. Please end this. Unfortunately, he's part of a quest, and we can't actually interact with him. The good news about finding him, though, is that tells me that Laszlo Benway is somewhere in this mansion. As with this encounter, which is the first part of that quest. Or second, as it were. You come across an odd sight for this house, and that is saying something. Before you sits a 1922 Kelvinator refrigeration unit. Who knows how it got here? You notice that the door is hanging slightly ajar. Your eyes are drawn to the interior, the main porcelain cabinet, and you are shocked by what you see. Jars and jars of internal organs, some human, some you are not sure of. Your stomach turns at the sight of all these neatly stacked organ jars. The methodical alignments and the precision of the stacking makes you wonder about the evil, obsessive-compulsive genius behind this? Question mark? Page of Cups. And that's it. Oh, sorry, and 2 10s. Hello, Knight of Cups. You can have our ace. Please someone like be afraid of a freaking refrigerator. Alright, there we go. Ooh. We do manage it. You aren't going to go looking around for sandwich fixings, but the sight of the organs and tissues, many of them still moving, doesn't really faze you. Rows of neatly stacked transparent jars and specimen dishes containing organs and tissue samples fill the inside of the warm porcelain cabinet, each labeled in a neat mechanical heritage script. God, that's a long sentence! You glance over the labels, noting some of the stranger ones. Krogan, Asari, Drell, Turian. On the bottom shelf is a rack holding dozens of vials, also each neatly labeled. Zugul venom? Trace of the Beyond? Gnats acid? Well, let's see what this is. The thing in the oven. You stop dead in your tracks when you first see it. A large 19th century oven is shambling across the floor in front of you. It seems to rock back and forth, and you hear the loud scrapes that it makes as it hobbles forward. A sudden chill shoots down your spine as you realize that you are confronting something otherworldly here. You flinch in horror as a face seems to materialize and turn its attention to you. Haunted furniture and you never get along very well. Your eyes wide in disbelief as the possessed oven turns to meet your gaze. You must fight to keep your sanity. King of Swords, Queen of Cups. That's very promising. We have to play the king on that too. But now we do win the horror challenge. You'll be damned if you'll let this kitchen appliance scare you. We'd be damned if we let it scare us as well, right? Actually, that's what it said. The possessed oven seems to rock back and forth as it sizes you up. You can swear you hear screams from souls trapped within the oven, roasting in agony. This creature is a product of a sorcery or curse of unfathomable evil. Well, we have a good chance to use sorcery against it. You decide to unleash your sorcerer's power on the diabolical contraption. You've had success in the past dispelling such creatures by simply overwhelming their defenses. It's time to turn this one up to 11. 2 kings and a queen. King of Cups, King of Wands, Queen of Wands. No reason not to win the challenge immediately. This can go bad for us if we don't win the challenge. You won the battle. The oven is scorching and melting in places. Whatever spirit possessed it is now gone. Four experience is very nice. Increase our cups. 4 more points. It looks like this mechanical device specialist is not going to give me another point in cups. That's really stupidly awkward. That is very awkward. Oh, that's really awkward. Well, no matter what, we need a bone of cups if we want to use heroic feats. And we're not likely to succeed at using them, but we'll still want one. Alright, there we go. You can't use heroic feats if you don't possess the wand, the bone that they require. And Burst of Speed requires us to roll 1 cup's bone. Now that we have one, we can actually use it. But if we roll higher than our cup's attribute, we fail to use it. So, going to be a bit awkward since we can't level our cups again. Or at least I doubt we will be able to. A locked door. You examine the lock mechanism and decide that you just might know how to finesse it open. Queen of Swords, Page of Pentacles. Not a bad hand for this. What does our toolkit do? Select 1 revealed non-face trick card and bump its card value down -X. I'll play the page and win the challenge. We can't lower the 10 to the point where our ace could take it. The lock opens. You are just as talented with the lock as you thought. The mechanism clicks, and you turn the knob to open the door. Aura of Fortune. We gain +1 luck. And 2 more experience points. Let's grab a Bone of Pentacles. We can't cast spells without that bone. So before we take an Eldritch spell, we might as well grab that bone. As you can see, there's a lot of prep that goes into your character to make sure that he can be somewhat efficient at what he does. It seemed impossible at first, but slowly you recognize the sounds of clinking glasses and the soft murmur of conversation. A long dining table stands in front of you, surrounded on all ends by dusty chairs. As you come nearer, you think you detect some movement around the table, and the hairs on your arms begin to stand on end. It is suddenly very cold. A ghostly face appears out of behind one of the chairs, and in a heartbeat, you see the apparition seated all around the table. The scene twists at the threads of your sanity. You struggle to comprehend the brush with the supernatural. You have rarely seen this many ghosts congregated together before. Knight of Cups, Page of Wands. We should win this challenge, and we do. You hardly feel at ease, but your willpower is rock steady. You're confronted with a very unusual scene. You stand before a dinner party of ghosts, who for the most part seem completely oblivious to your presence. Occasionally you see a ghost looking around as if trying to find a servant. However, most seem fully preoccupied with ghostly gossip and dinner chatter. Oh wow, these are both difficult to do, thanks to our stats, I guess. Listen to the ghosts. You decide to take a seat and see if you can use your skills as a medium to listen in on the conversations of the spirits. A subtle approach might be the most effective here, and they might have valuable information. Oh, Knight of Wands, Page of Wands, a 10, and then all low cards. We should at least try to reduce the damage we take, if I want to risk failing this encounter. I hear one of my kittens trilling. I want a better hand. Blah, blah, blah. Such inane chatter could drive a person crazy. You doubt they even realize that You doubt they even realize that they are dead yet. Try this again. A worse hand. Say we might lose some sanity, but that's acceptable. We don't want 31 sanity because we don't want the game to punish us that much. King of Pentacles, Queen of Cups. We can at least play the Queen. We still don't win the challenge. Oh, we have a Wands card? We do. Sure. Go say the most incredible things sometimes. You feel that new vistas have opened up before, some of which you haven't even recognized yet. Nope, nothing. This probably leads to the back of the house. Oh, it does not. Oh my goodness! Right next to the kitchen? Well, I guess we know what they were eating in this place. My God. A freezer room filled with what looks like body bags. And they don't look like they're empty. You look down and see a large knife resting on a wooden surface. Blood has pooled around it, and there are several pieces of stubby flesh scattered around it as well. Suddenly, you see two pale eyes reflected on the surface of the blade. No, not reflected, but rather projected from someplace inside the blade. You recoil in terror from the vision. The eyes seem to pierce through to your very soul. They mask a dark and powerful evil will. You shudder and force yourself to resist it. You can feel it probing your psychic defenses. Two kings. Two kings. We're not really doing so bad on the horror challenges. Wow, not bad, Tim. You're 16 over. You've won. You've shrugged off the evil spirit's attempt to dominate you. That's not necessarily true. It's a horror check. Sometimes you get a lot of rewards. That's a lot of sanity. I wish we didn't get that much, because the game's going to punish us for having that much sanity. You gaze down at the knife, but try to keep your gaze from locking onto the mesmerizing eyes within the blade. You feel an oppressive presence in the room with you. The knife radiates pure evil. You resolve to approach this artifact with caution, and wonder how many throats this thing has slit. Communicating with something like this is always dangerous. There's no telling how powerful this possessed knife really is. You decide to risk it, and enter a trance. Queen of Swords and two pages are our high cards. 7 of Wands. We can have our ace. 9 can have our 5. Uh-oh. I don't think we really want to lose this challenge, so we'll play the Queen. You enter a trance and are immediately assaulted with the desire to harm yourself. Before you know it, the blade is in your hand, but you fight back and make it listen to your command. The knife obeys. It will return to the chef shortly. Okay, where was the chef? He was down here? That's the baker. There he is. All right, there's no reason for us not to turn it in. We'll get some sort of reward for it. Wait, we can also turn in the oven quest, so we might as well do that too. You tried to tell the ghostly baker that his oven is now clean and ready for use. Maybe this will put him at ease. You cleaned it, you say? Well, that's great news. I'll make sure you get a little something if any of the donuts are left over. Without a word, the ghostly baker vanishes. Woo! One of you guys just used the bathroom. I can smell it. Not a very good reward. Two life and 1 experience point. You enter a trance and tell the chef that you have located his knife. You had to insist a little, but it got the point. The ghostly chef is still moving in an energetic circle, seeming wrapped in his ectoplasmic food preparations. You wonder if it couldn't leave all this behind, or is just being punished for some foul poisoning. Another experience point. The Magician! One of the better Arcana cards. We'll talk about Arcana cards now that we drew one. Wow, and 3 experience points. That's a much better reward than what we got before. Arcana cards are stored in your Arcana card inventory down here, of which you have no limit to my knowledge. Arcana cards are one-time use only items when you use them in a challenge, the card game that you play. They are worth 1 point more than a king, and as such can take any card on the opposing side, any trick that you so reveal, giving you a guaranteed card that can help you earn points. Many of these cards, though, want you to use them in very specific instances, or don't want you to use them at all, thanks to a special passive that they all give you. The Magician, while it's in our inventory, gives us +2 bonus to our Pentacles score, meaning we are quite good at now casting spells with a 7 total Pentacles. That's amazing. But if we use it, obviously, we lose that bonus, so it's going to be really rough for me to decide to go ahead and use the Magician. We also earn enough experience points. We can earn the bonus Pentacles. And then we'll work towards an Eldritch spell, I think. Nice. Let's go back to the main menu and save all this so far. That was a very nice Arcana card. I tend to get the Magician in the games I play for this. Okay, so there is no way outside here. We've explored... Oh, actually we have these other doors. Okay. Well, let's keep exploring then the rest of this mansion. I don't really want to walk down this hallway like that, so we're going to skirt around the hallway, just in case there's a trap there. There's not likely to be a secret door in this one spot, and if there is, it probably just leads to the same room anyway. Oh, we don't really want to cross that if we have a choice. Failing to cross this beam will put you down to the basement, but we do want to step out here. Okay. I wanted to check what was in these 2 corners. Sometimes the robot will be here, or maybe across this plank. The robot's the 3rd, or 5th, 6th part of the Laszlo Benway quest. Another locked door. Oh, a worse chance for us to pick it. Thanks for our Pentacles jumped up. And so the game's now like, you have a 7 Pentacles, Tim. You're doing very well. Let's make this normally a 5 difficulty into an 11. Page of Swords. That's our high card, with a 10 of Wands after that. So we are probably failing this. It seems you overestimated your ability to master this mechanism. You scratch your head in dismay. We'll try it again. Queen of Cups, Knight of Pentacles. I'm hearing sounds in a different part of the room, house that is, and I'm wondering what's making those sounds. We have a chance. It's not a good chance to reduce this 6 to something we can take. If we roll a 5 or a 6, this gets reduced to an ace. We'll try it. A 3. Not a very good chance. Okay, well then we have to play the ace anyway. And we win the challenge. You are just as talented with the lock as you thought. The mechanism clicks, and you turn the knob to open the door. A laboratory. Benway could be in this, so he tends not to be. Another clue token. You hear a voice coming from everywhere and nowhere. It speaks a clear warning. Get out. Isn't this based on... I never watched a horror movie, but there was a horror movie about a haunted house that would scream that. Like, blood would ooze from the walls in it, if I recall correctly. There is likely no more clue tokens on the first floor. You see a strange man hunched over a work table that is cluttered with blueprints, tools, gadgets, and colorful test tubes. He barely takes any notice of you at first, as if he had frequent visitors to his laboratory, which you find highly unlikely. You recognize the man from his odd file almost immediately. Dr. Laszlo Benway. I said that correctly. What could he possibly be doing here? There's obviously some strange convergence that's attracting the most notorious and nefarious characters and supernatural entities to this place. Talk with them. Strange bedfellows? This place is downright dangerous. He's not your primary mission objective. Maybe you two could both find a way to help each other out? King of Cups. Oh, nice. King of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles are high cards. The only issue with having so many pentacles is that the odds of there being pentacles up here is not very good. But we did get the Queen of Pentacles. And since we have the King, we might as well take that and win the challenge. Very good. Very good. You clear your throat and look Benway straight in the eye when he glances up. You know from his facial expression the recognition that you are an odd agent, and the faintest hint of a smile crosses his face. Yes, I think you'll do just fine, he says. Your arrival is most serendipitous. I have a task for you. You will be rewarded, of course. Benway wants you to find his lab refrigerator, which also happens to be this house's only refrigerator, located naturally in the kitchen. Fetch a small jar labeled boffin juice, and return it here at once. First, we'll choose a spell. Let's take a look at these together. Roll one bone and then select and destroy X non-face revealed trick cards that have matching played cards. The played cards now become the revealed trick cards. Wow. I guess you still keep your points. Non-face revealed trick cards. That's interesting. Alas, I don't know when this can be used. It doesn't tell me what type of challenges it's used for. Roll one bone and select a face card in your hand and swap it with any played card to take a trick, regardless of suit. Then draw X cards, where X number of pentacles rolled divided by 2. Okay, that's a good one. Chain Spirit, roll one bone and select a revealed non-face trick card and swap it with its matching played card. So you flip them. Like, the card you played becomes the trick. The card that was the trick becomes the played. Then draw X cards. Touch of Paralysis. Roll one bone and then select X non-face cards in your hand, and then switch them randomly with X not revealed trick cards. Where X, okay, so if you have a bunch of low cards, you play this, select a bunch of cards in your hand that you hate, and those become the cards that become the trick. That's a pretty nice one. Sign of Malachim. Roll one bone and discard your hand, then redraw your hand. Then add a random face card from the deck to your hand. A mulligan, effectively. I remember liking Lumerian Fire. Roll one bone and select X non-face revealed trick cards and remove them from the board where X number of pentacles rolled. Then replace them with random cards from the deck. Uh... Hmm. Let's take the touch of Paralycus. And where can that be used? Combat, sorcery, battle, dispel. So in almost every single challenge. Alright, that's very good. Well, the refrigerator's right around the corner. In fact, we can complete 2 of Benway's quests right now. So we might as well do that. Let's risk the hallway. The refrigerator's right there. It's very odd that he's so close to these things, too. Normally, he's on, like, the 2nd floor of the attic. It requires quite a bit of back and forth to get these completed. So we can find the boffin juice and give it to him. Or we can switch the labels and give him something else. I don't think there's any real penalty to giving him what he wants. So, like, I can't remember what the differences are on this for the rewards section. So we'll just go ahead and find the boffin juice. Search the bottom row for the vial of boffin juice and take it. It shouldn't be that hard. Queen of Wands, Page of Swords are our high cards. 8 of Cups, you can have our 10. Knight of Swords, you can have our Ace of Swords. We can take the 5 with our Page. King of Pentacles can have our 6. Knight of Cups can have our 5. And we didn't draw a single wand. There it is. You take the vial and put it into your pocket. Oh, free experience point, huh? Let's increase our wands again. Kind of dangerous to just improve your stats up to 6. The game begins getting tougher when you do that. In case you guys can't tell, I really loathe the idea of an AI that tries to tweak the difficulty as you play. It basically doesn't, you don't feel like you're really rewarded for doing well in the game. And you do, but I would like to blast everything away on the 1st floor if my stats were high enough to do so, rather than struggle to fight off a single weak ghost. You hand over the boffin juice to the creepy mad scientist. Excellent, yes, that will do nicely. I will be able to complete my work without any fatigue. I should bottle and sell this, actually. I call it something like hours of energy. At any rate, here is your reward. Look over it in the box over there. You might find something that you like. You might not either. Strength! I think this is one that improves our swords by 2. Swords bonus +1. Replenish all ammo for any items in your inventory that require ammo after this card is used to take a trick. We don't have any guns, and +1 swords is hard for us to get because we took no skill cards that would give us +1 swords. So we're likely holding on to this unless it's a matter of life or death. Dr. Laszlo Benway remains hunched over his workbench, maniacally pursuing whatever weird experiment he has thought up now. He pays you no attention now that he is again lost in his work. You note that the boffin juice does indeed seem to have boosted his work rate. He is obviously absorbed in his work, but fetching him some boffin juice was a bit trivial. Maybe he has a more important task? King of Cups, Knight of Cups are our 2 high cards, a bunch of low cards. Oh, but we do have a 9 of Wands. Take the 7. Sure. Let's get the quest. We know where the plant guy is, and he's the next part of this quest. Yes, well, now that I know that you can be trusted, I have a more meaningful task for you. It seems one of my experiments has run off. More plant than man, actually. A disappointment, but an expected one. I need a tissue sample once you find it, and then be so good as to destroy it. Right, off you go. Well, he's right around the corner, so... Oh, no! The house is attacking us again. The hairs on the back of your neck stand up straight as the psychic energy in the room spikes suddenly. You look around frantically, wondering what it could be causing it. You feel an evil presence growing quickly. A voice speaks into your head. Get out. Suddenly, the very ceiling above you seems to form a gigantic mouth with jagged teeth, and you recoil in terror. You can feel psychic energy of an evil entity gathered up and manifested in the gaping maw that lurks above you on the ceiling. It's truly terrifying. We have a king of wands and 2 queens, so we're not likely to fail this horror challenge. But we will if we draw nothing but higher cards than what we possess. Oh, okay. Woo, we do pass it. You've been asked to leave better joints than this, and it never ends well. The house seems possessed by some psychic entity that can alter the physical aspects of the materials that compose the house itself. It wants you out, and it seems intent on enforcing its demand. You tell yourself to be careful. This thing can probably not only swallow you whole, it can most also likely lobotomize you with a psychic attack. So as this, once again, we do not have a good chance to flee from it. We have a great chance to use sorcery against it, though. Sure. Use sorcery to dispel the mouth. Nethle incantation should do the trick. If you release the energy from the incantation correctly, you should be able to both eliminate this local manifestation of the possession, and perhaps even sting the evil entity a bit. Oh god, look at that hand, that's awful. 9 of wands, 7 of swords. Thankfully, we do have touch of paralysis. So first, we have to roll the spell die. We got a 5, so we succeeded. We can't roll less than our pentacles, thankfully, as well, so we will always be able to successfully cast this spell. 1 card gets to be put over here. Really? Oh my god, and we drew a freaking 3. Screw you, game. Alright, well, we won. Yeah, there's the ace we put up there. We even get a few more points. Oh, wow. There was a 2 of swords up there. All right. 4 with the target number. That's acceptable. You start the incantation and feel immediate resistance. You fight through it, and soon your sorcery overwhelms the barriers that the evil entity attempts to erect. The mouth is sealed, and you have also managed to irritate the house considerably. Hopefully, it won't come back to haunt you. Okay, so let's kill the plant man and fake a sample. Benway can rot in hell. You decide to mercy kill it and then create a fake sample. That should set his so-called research back a bit. Knight of Cups, King of Wands. We don't need to use Dominate here. The King lets us win the challenge immediately. You put the thing out of its misery and scrape up some mold from the floor and put it in the sample dish that Benway gave you. Alright, let's turn this in, and then I think we'll call it a session. I think we've been playing for close to an hour. You hand the sample over to Benway and tell him that the creature has been destroyed. Excellent! I'll be able to use this to cure countless diseases. I wouldn't have been able to do it without your help. Of course, I could make a nice biological weapon as well. Choices. At any rate, here is your reward. Look over it in the box over there. You might find something that you like. You might not either. 3 hit points, 2 experience, and it's okay. Dr. Laszlo Benway has again returned to his work, seemingly having forgotten your presence. He remains hunched over his work bench, maniacally pursuing whatever weird experiment he has thought up now. You wonder if he has some strange ritual that he somehow draws pleasure from. One more time, you suspect he very much wants to talk with you, so you go ahead and, with the grand charade, to clear your throat again to get his attention. King of Wands, Page of Cups, and a King of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles. Can even take the 2 of swords with our 3 of swords. That's kind of lucky. Game, are you... Okay, let's say, are you really not going to give me a pentacles or a wand card up there? You didn't want to. There we go. Yes, very well. How do you feel about robots? Mechanical men, that sort of thing. It seems that my mechanical assistant, Tor, has wandered off. I sent him to find my boffin juice, and he never came back. You'll need to find him and then replace his battery pack, no doubt. Here's a fully charged unit. Now, off you go. Well, we'll at least increase our wands a point. And you know what? Let's stop here, because this gives me the excuse to... At the beginning of the next episode, we'll level ourselves up again. And if I get something that I don't like if I take an edge and it doesn't do what I thought it did, after looking at how many ranks there are in it, I can just reload the game and undo the pick, which is far more easier for me to do at the beginning of recording session than in the middle of it or at the end. So we'll stop here. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. It's looking good for us so far. And we'll explore more of the first floor of the house when we come back. We haven't even explored half of the first floor. My goodness, we're doing very well. Well, at least mentally. Physically, we're not doing so good. But that's something for another episode. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.